Now in today's lecture we would be looking into nucleophilic addition reactions in aldehydes and ketones. In the previous video lecture we have already understood in detail how the carbonyl structure looks like, how the carbonyl structure which is common in both aldehydes and ketones looks like, right? And we also know that since both aldehydes and ketones contain the same carbonyl group, due to which they possess many similar chemical properties, right, that we will be seeing in future when we'll go through all the chemical reactions of aldehydes and ketones. So now in this video lecture we will be looking into the nucleophilic addition reaction of aldehydes and ketones in general. Then in coming lectures we will look into various nucleophilic addition reactions, right? So let's quickly see. This is how it looks like, right? This is your carbonyl carbon, this is your oxygen, right? And we know that carbonyl carbon has a small positive charge and your oxygen has a slight negative charge due to electronegativity difference, right? And now when we talk of nucleophilic addition reaction, that means attack by a negative reagent, right? Attack by negative part of the reagent. If your reagent say is hydrocyanic acid, HCN, right, then the nucleophile would be your CN, the negative part of this reagent, right? Now we know that we have studied this in your basic mechanism of organic reactions, that nucleophiles, which are negative reagents, will attack organic compounds at sites of low electron density, right, or at positive sites, because we know that these are negative reagents and we know that negative positive have attraction, right? So nucleophiles will attack organic compounds at sites of low electron density, right, or at positive sites. Now if we talk about aldehydes and ketones, the positive sites or site of low electron density is your carbon. This is your site of low electron density, right, or this is a positive site in organic compound, right, which would be attacked by the negative nucleophile. And oxygen, because it has high electronegativity, so it will pull the electron of the electrons of the pi bond towards itself, thereby acquiring a small negative charge, right? Now let's look at the attack of nucleophile on this carbonyl carbon, right? We know that this is your carbonyl group, right, and this is your, say, A, right, and this is towards U, this is your B group. This A can be hydrogen, right, one can be your alkyl group, and if it is a ketone, both A and B are alkyl groups, right, and if it is formaldehyde, then both are hydrogen atoms. We know that all this carbon, your A, B, right, and oxygen, all these lie in the same plane, right? All these are in the same plane. And this carbon is sp2 hybridized. This is your negative, this is your positive, right? Now, nucleophile will attack this carbonyl carbon from a direction which is perpendicular to this plane. Since all these atoms are in one plane, so when nucleophile will approach this carbonyl carbon, it will approach from a direction which is perpendicular. If this is your carbonyl carbon, then the nucleophile will approach this way towards the carbonyl carbon, which is a site of low electron density, right? So it would be somewhat like this, right? It will attack, right? Now let's look into some of the changes that takes place when a nucleophile attacks the carbonyl carbon, right? Now when nucleophile will attack the carbonyl carbon, first thing that will happen is when it will attach itself to the carbonyl carbon, we know that carbon is tetrahedral in nature, and your carbonyl group, this carbonyl was planar. If you remember, it was trigonal planar because your carbon was sp2 hybridized. Now when nucleophile will attack it, the hybridization of this carbon will change from sp2 to sp3, right? That means sp2 means planar, right? We know this is planar, right, before the attack of nucleophile. Now when it will change to sp3, that means it will change to tetrahedral, right? That means after the attack of nucleophile, it would be like this: A, B, then you have nucleophile, then you have oxygen, right? You have 4 atoms attached to it. That means now it's a tetrahedral, and your oxygen has a negative charge, right? This is your tetrahedral intermediate. Tetrahedral intermediate, and we know that in reaction intermediates are short-lived. They are very reactive, right? So they will react with whatever they have in their environment, right? In this case, if this reaction, in this case, what this tetrahedral intermediate will do, it will pick up a proton from the solvent or from the positive part of the reagent, right? Here, suppose the reagent is, this nucleophile is attacked at, it's NuH, right? Nu minus plus H, right? Either this intermediate, because it has a negative oxygen or the site of high electron density, right? So it can attach to a positive reagent, right? So what it will do is, this intermediate will pick up a proton either from the solvent or from the positive part of nucleophilic reagent, right? Now what will form is this is an addition product, right? It will result into the formation of this addition neutral product, right? So similar type of reactions you will see, right, that we would be looking for, that we will do for aldehydes and ketones, right? Nucleophilic addition reactions. A nucleophile, in all the reactions that we would be doing, a nucleophile will attack this sp2 hybridized carbonyl carbon, right, to form this tetrahedral intermediate, in which the hybridization of carbon has changed from sp2 to sp3, right? And in the presence of this reagent, the pi electrons would transfer towards this oxygen, right? And this is your tetrahedral intermediate. Since it is an intermediate, it is highly reactive. So what it will do is, it will pick up a proton from the solvent or from the positive part of the reagent to form this addition neutral product, right? This is your addition neutral product. This is what we will be doing in future for the reactions of aldehydes and ketones. Now there are two things to it. The nucleophilic addition reactions to aldehydes and ketones may occur in the presence of acids, right? It may be catalyzed, these reactions may be catalyzed by acids if the nucleophile is weak nucleophile. For example, ammonia or your alcohol. Ammonia and alcohol or amines, all these are weak nucleophiles. So when you have a weak nucleophile, you need to have a acid catalyst, right? What acid catalyst will do? It will increase the nucleophilicity of the carbonyl carbon, right? So that the attack of nucleophile would ease, or the nucleophile will easily attack your carbonyl carbon. Let's just quickly understand it. Your if this is your carbonyl group, right? So when you take acid catalyst, right, we know that we have two electron pairs on it. When you have acid catalyst, all acids, what they do is they furnish a proton, right? So this is a proton from the acid catalyst. What it will form is, this proton will attack this carbonyl oxygen because it is highly electronegative, right? So what it will form is this, right? It will form this, and since this has a positive charge, you have a positive charge here, right? And we know that this structure is in resonance. That will increase that will make this carbonyl carbon more electrophilic, right? Which will easily be attacked by your nucleophile, right? I'm sorry, here you have a double bond, sorry, right? And since this structure is in resonance, what will happen is the electron would be in the other resonance form. The electrons of the pi bond would be transferred to the oxygen, right? Like this. Now this is more positive now, right? This is more positive, not small positive. Let's make it just positive, right? Because the electrons are transferred to this oxygen, right, to form this. Now when electrons are transferred to this oxygen, this has become more positive. When this will become more positive, that means the nucleophile, since it attacks the regions of low electron density or the positive sites, the nucleophile now would easily be able to attack this carbonyl carbon, right, in the presence of acid catalyst. And this we will do only when we have weak nucleophiles. Why? Right? Because it's a weak nucleophile, so it will have difficulty in attacking this carbonyl carbon, right? So this attack can be eased by using an acid catalyst, because an acid catalyst contains a proton which will make this more electrophilic, right? What it has done is it has increased the electrophilicity, or it has made this carbon more positive, right? Now the attack of nucleophile will be easy, right? So this is your acid catalyst, acid catalyzed reaction. Same can be done, this reaction can be done as in the presence of base, right, which will be called as base catalyzed reaction, base catalyzed nucleophilic addition reaction. In that, what will happen is, we know that when we have a base catalyst reaction, we will do when your nucleophile is strong. For example, HCN. If you have a strong if you have a strong nucleophile, which is hydrocyanic acid, then this reaction is catalyzed by bases, right, by base catalysts. What bases will do? We know that bases have OH groups, right, hydroxyl group. This hydroxyl group will abstract this proton and will favor the formation of a nucleophile. It will form water plus Cn minus. Now this Cn minus will attack your carbonyl carbon, because this is positive, this is negative, right? So basically in base catalyzed reactions, it is promoting the formation of your nucleophile, right? So you have more nucleophile now, which will attack your carbonyl carbon. So it's just helping this reaction basically. It's not initiating the nucleophilic attack, it's just helping the reaction by producing more nucleophile, right? which will attack the positive part of the carbonyl group, which is your carbonyl carbon, and this way it will help, it promotes the reaction, right? Now if you look at this reaction, since this is, what is this? This is an electrophile, right? This electrophile is attacking the negative part, right? So we can also call it as electrophilic addition reaction, but we don't call this reaction as electrophilic addition. We always call it as nucleophilic addition reactions. Why? Because there are some reasons. If you look at this electrophilic addition, when this electrophile attacks this oxygen, this is more of this reaction, right? This is a reversible reaction, and this reaction goes more towards the reactant side. It favors more the backward reaction, where you have your reactants, right? And if you look at the forward direction, the electrophilic addition is occurring in the forward direction, right? But this reaction is more occurring in the backward reaction. The rate of backward reaction is high in this reaction, right? That is why we don't call it a electrophilic addition, we call it a nucleophilic addition. And there are some other reasons, like in this nucleophilic addition reaction, in this reaction a new bond gets formed between carbon and oxygen, right? A new bond gets formed between carbon and the nucleophile, right? Since a new bond gets formed between carbon and nucleophile, we call it a nucleophilic addition reaction, right? And the other reason is we have a highly electronegative oxygen atom, right, in carbon group, that will accommodate the negative charge, right? It will accommodate the negative charge and will make the nucleophile attack easier on the carbonyl carbon, right? So that's why we call it this is basically assisting in nucleophilic. This is basically assisting the attack of nucleophile on the carbonyl carbon, right? By accommodating the negative charge of the double bond, right? So here your oxygen is facilitating or making attack of nucleophile easier on your carbonyl carbon, right? Since it's easing the nucleophilic attack on carbonyl carbon, we call it a nucleophilic addition reaction, right? I hope this is clear. Just remember how the nucleophile initiates the attack on the positive side, right? The changes where this planar sp2 hybridized carbon changes into tetrahedral intermediate sp3, right? Then it will pick up a proton to form this addition product, right? And this, we have two types of reactions, acid catalyzed and base catalyzed. Base catalyzed is when we have a strong nucleophile like HCN. It will help in the production of nucleophile, which will then attack the carbonyl carbon. Whereas in case of acid catalyst will, a proton from the acid catalyst will attack this carbonyl oxygen. That will ease the attack of nucleophile, or it will increase positive charge on the carbonyl carbon, which will make the attack of nucleophile easier on the carbonyl carbon, right? And why we call it a nucleophilic addition, not electrophilic addition? Because a new bond gets formed between carbon and the nucleophile, and the second is oxygen facilitates it makes the attack of nucleophile easier on carbonyl carbon by taking the negative charge onto it, right? Because of its high electron density, right? And the third reason is that the rate of if you look at the attack of the electrophile, which is here, your proton on this carbonyl oxygen, what is basically happening is this product is getting formed, right, which is resonance hybrid, right? It due to resonance gives more positive charge to the carbon, which again will make the attack of nucleophile easier, right? And this reaction, the rate of backward reaction in this reaction is higher, due to which we don't consider it as an electrophilic addition reaction, right? I hope all this is clear. Thanks.